Hello everyone, I'm Mom from Millennial and Mom, and today I'm going solo. Millennial will be back next week. She's got some work obligations, so don't worry about it. She'll be back. But today, baby, it is season 3, episode 21, Love After Lockup, Secret Lives and Prison Wives. Now, who do you think they're talking about? Secret Lives, they all kind of live it, but Prison Wives? Just have to wait and see. So, let's get into the video. Now, speaking of prison wives, that could be anybody, right? That could be Destiny, that could be Lindsay, that could be Brittany. But today, we're talking about Amber. Do you all remember Amber? She was on a previous season when she was with Vince. I didn't think that match was a match made in heaven anyways, because the backstory of that was Vince was trying to adopt Amber's wife in prison named Puppy. Now, they had some type of scam going on. I'm like, how can you adopt somebody who's over the age of 18 anyways? But lo and behold, they was trying to do it. So now Amber's out. She's been out for quite some time, and she seems like she's on the straight and narrow. But what they didn't show was, is she still staying at Puppy's mom's house? Because when she got out last season, that's where she stayed, but we didn't see that this time around. But Amber's at her job. She looks like she's working at a bar or cafe or something like that. But if she's on parole, I don't know, she's supposed to be working maybe on the bar side, but who knows? Maybe she can. So she's clean, she's living life, and you know what's happening now? Her mom is getting out of prison. Now, the backstory on Amber is her and her mom were the biggest meth dealers in Texas. And then when they got to jail, they actually went to the same jail together. That's when Amber met Puppy. They devised this plan to meet men, get money, the whole shebang. We've seen this before, right? So her mom is getting out, and Amber's concerned that her mom, even though she's getting out, may not necessarily be in the right frame of mind, because the money when they were dealing was good, and you know, to live a day-to-day and a minimum wage paycheck may not be what her mom is looking for. So as Amber's driving to pick up her mom, she gets into a backstory like, yeah, her mom was gonna get out at the prison, but things got delayed because the person in front of her got stabbed on the way. I was like, wow, really? Now, is the person who got stabbed an inmate who's getting out too? Because if you were getting out, I guess you got drugged back in. You're not going anywhere, right? Is that like what, attempted murder or something? So Amber has to pick up her mom from a gas station. Her mom gets there. They're happy to see each other, because I think they spent a total of like 8 years in jail, even though Amber got out a little earlier because she wasn't the kingpin, her mom was. They end up going to a cafe to talk and let her know what was going on and how things were progressing. And Amber was telling her mom how, you know, day to day is different. You know, we're not used to spending money on a regular paycheck. We're used to getting what we want, living the highest life, living in the best hotel, stuff like that. And, you know, we can't do that no more. As a matter of fact, Amber is still on a 20-year probation. I'm like, what? 20 years? Like, I could see something like 5, but 20 seems a little unreasonable. But as she's talking to her mom is listening and kind of like shaking her head. And I don't know if mom really wants to be, would you say, real on the straight and narrow? Because she wanted to know where Vince was and what happened to the plan. And Amber's like, Mom, don't even bring his name up. But she's like, well, you know, the money. And, you know, giving eye like, the money. And Amber's like, I don't know. So we'll have to see more what's going to go on with Amber and her mom, because I think Puppy's coming out soon, and we'll see how that dynamic goes. Back to Shawn and Destiny. Shawn is still at the pool. He's still calling Brittany, Destiny's sister. He's still trying to find out where Destiny is. But you know what? I'm just unsure why Shawn doesn't realize Destiny don't want to talk to you. I mean, you call, the phone goes to voicemail. Clearly you're blocked, right? So when we see Destiny with her sister, she's like, the next time Shawn calls you, don't even answer. Matter of fact, why don't you block him like I did? I'm like, see, I knew it. I knew he was blocked too. So her sister was like, okay. And Shawn keeps calling and calling and calling. Destiny is chilling. So next we see Shawn, he's at work and he's on his phone. He talks to a coworker. Now, the name says Kobe, but the name on the shirt says Benjamin. Which one is it? Is it Kobe or is it Benjamin? So Shawn is showing Kobe pictures of Destiny on his phone. He's like, who's that? what's she doing? And he's scrolling through. Looks like Destiny was on Facebook. Was it before prison? After prison? Whatever. But she's on Facebook with 3 different guys that she clearly was engaged to because her profile page says engaged. And Sean's like, what is this? Like, do you mean she was cheating on me? I mean, I have so much invested in her. 50,000 up to 100,000. I'm like, 100,000? Like, where did that come from? I thought it was just 50,000. Or does Shawn mean all the money he sent to Destiny from the time he was like the pen pal up till now? Well, his friend, co-worker was like, you know, Shawn, maybe you ought to call her. Like, do you think that was reason? He's like, I don't know. But Shawn, I'm going to need you to do one of 2 things. You either going to sit back and try to relax, or get on the road, because you know where Destiny is. You know she's in California somewhere. Go see where she's at. Go knock on the door and see what it is you've been missing and see who those men were. Because clearly now you think you've been bamboozled. A little too late, Shawn. I think the light is starting to come on for you. Staying in Vegas, we have Brittany and Marcelino. Now, Brittany is going to go visit her mom. It turns out Brittany has found out where her mom is living. I don't know whether she reached out to her or vice versa, or one of her sisters told her, but her mom is staying at a motel. And I happen to know the vicinity where that motel is. It is downtown off of Fremont Street North. Not necessarily the best side of town you want to be on. That's neither here nor there. Her mom has a roof over her head. So as Brittany is driving to see her mom, she's still concerned about her being on drugs and don't really know what happened to her, because remember at her birthday party, she was so upset because no one had heard from her mom. So that's why I'm curious, like, how did her mom reach out, or vice versa? Like, what happened with that? We're missing something here. So now Brittany is knocking at the door at the motel. Her mom opens and Brittany's surprised like how her mom looks. And I'm like, what she look like, Brittany? Well, turns out her mom has lost quite a bit of weight. Brittany guessed it to be about 40 pounds. She's like, the only way she could have lost that was on drugs, because pretty much it takes one to know one. So she comes in, her mom's like, oh, you brought me groceries? She's like, yeah. And Brittany looks around the room. There's beer bottles and different things, and her mom is smoking, and there's a little twitch going on. I don't know if it's from nerves or maybe she's coming off from something, but Brittany's trying to tell her, like, look, mom, you've been on these pain pills for too long. You've been doing whatever substance you're on for too long. I need you to get clean. If you want to be around me, you want to be around my kids, you have to get clean. Her mom is crying like, you know, I really want to, Brittany. I really do. And Brittany's like, no, you have to make the change today. Because if you don't make it today, you're going to lose everything like you've lost it before. I will do whatever I can to get you help. I will leave my kids, come pick you up every day to get you the help you need. Because step 1 is to admit it. Step 2 are meeting. So what are you going to do, mom? And mom sits there and she thinks about it for a little while. She has a little tear in her eye. I don't know if it was a real tear, but she does. She's like, you know, I'm going to do it. But I don't know if Brittany can believe her. And honestly, I don't either, because she just came back after being missing for so long. Sarah and Michael. Is anyone surprised? Like, seriously, anytime you see Sarah and Michael, are you surprised at the outcome, whether it be negative, positive, or negative? I'm not, and you can't be either. So today's the day they have family court. We see Sarah in the morning. She's getting ready. Malcolm's cooking breakfast. She's calling Michael. I'm like, why, Sarah? What are you calling Michael for? Like, if he shows up, he does. If he don't, he don't. And 9 times out of 10, the things that he has to do or says he's going to do, he doesn't show up. And if you want custody of the kids, like you say, that would be in your favor. So Malcolm is cooking breakfast and Sarah's like, oh, babe, that smells good. He's like, do you want to eat? She says, nah, I'm too nervous. Gives him a kiss, says, I'll be back. I got court. So she leaves, goes to the courthouse. She's still calling Michael. No answer, no answer. So when she gets there, she's actually sitting outside on a bench waiting for Michael. I wouldn't have did all that. I would have took myself inside the courtroom, because technically, how do you know he's not already in there? Like, seriously, how do you know? You just going to sit outside because he's not answering the phone? You can't answer the phone in court anyway, Sarah. So anyway, she calls him at least 2 more times before she decides to go in the courthouse, about 5 minutes before her scheduled appearance. Then we learn when she comes out a couple hours later, Michael was a no-show. Again, I'm not surprised. And she's like, I can't believe this. He would do this to kids. Yes, you can. I mean, He disappoints you all the time, so why can't you believe this? So the next scene, we see producers at Michael's hotel knocking on the door. He opens the door in that classic wife beater. Like, I'm gonna need Michael to get some new shirts. And once they pan around the room, there's more beer bottles. Look like there's a box of condoms out there. He's like, oh man, I just woke up. They're like, do you know you missed court? Yeah, I know I missed court. I overslept. You know, I had old girl here last night and I set my alarm. Either I slept through the alarm or I didn't hear it go off. I'm like, that's the same thing. But okay, Michael. And he was like, well, you know, I wonder what happened. And lo and behold, Sarah makes it home. And you see Sarah calling Michael. And then they have a conversation. She's like, Ma, what happened? She's like, how come you weren't there, Michael? You know how Sarah is in her black accent. How come you weren't there? He's like, don't worry, Ma. I'm about to come see you. While she's sitting around looking at Malcolm. I'm like, you going to tell Malcolm he's on the way? Because we already know how that goes. Now we're back in Texas with Qilyn. Qilyn's having dinner at his big sister's house with his mom and his little sister. Looks like she put a meal of fish and spaghetti, cornbread, sitting around have a family meal, and Miss Qilyn is like, oh, I haven't had all my kids at the same table at the same time in a long time. I'm like, that's nice. I'm glad she got that experience. You know, I understand what she's talking about. That's a story for another time. But Qilyn's telling his family that Chevelle kicked him out. They're like, what? She kicked you out for what? Oh, you know, these cheating allegations. I'm like, allegations? She called the number in the phone. Is it still an allegation? Is she calling numbers in the phone and looking at text messages? He's like, no, you know, I met some girl who was texting me. You know, her name is Chi-Town. I met her on Facebook. It's not like what Chevelle thinks it is. You know, I'm just out here having fun. But Qilyn admits one thing. He said he knew when he was in prison, when Chevelle was visiting and when he got out, that she wanted to get married, but he's not ready yet. But we know this already. I'm surprised Chevelle don't know it. Chevelle is so intent on getting Qilyn what he wants, when he wants, that she's trying to buy his love. Because when the sisters was having conversation with Qilyn, the oldest sister told him, like, you know, what has she done for you? Like, why is she trying to hold you back? You need to explore life. He was like, no. I don't need to do all that. You know, he was defending Chevelle after all that. And she was like, well, what are you talking about? Like, she was trying to buy your love. Exactly what I was thinking too. And Qilyn got all the way upset with that. He was like, no, who was there for me? Y'all didn't come visit me. Y'all didn't hold me down. She came every weekend, 3 hours. She's like, don't try to say that. You know, and the mom, Miss Qilyn, was like, you know, were you trying to say like we weren't there for you? And his sister was like, don't say that. You know, she's only been there for 2 years, Qilyn, 2 years. And you call that being down for you? Qilyn gets up from the table, real mad, goes outside, finds a shovel, breaks it on the ground, and is like all huffing and puffing. I'm thinking, listen, Qilyn, that's true. Your family has been there for you. They've been trying to get you to move to Houston. Now, maybe your sister or your sisters didn't take the time out to call you every day, or not call you, but maybe write you or come see you all the time. It's just based on circumstances what happened. But at the same time, your sisters and your mom, it's not going to pillow talk you. Chevelle is, because Chevelle wants something out of the equation, not your sisters and your mom. That's your family. But his sister comes out to talk to him and apologizes for not being there as much as she should have been. But she also let her little brother know, Qilyn, that, you know, we'll always be there for you. We just want the best for you. Like, what if something happened to us? All of us. And would Chevelle be there to pick you up and hold you down like we have? And Qilyn was just listening, but where's all this suppressed anger coming from? Because if it's from Chevelle, that's a whole different situation. If it's from your family, that is too. He just needs to figure out where he wants to go in life, and maybe he needs some counseling. Last but not least, Lacey and Shane. Lacey's in the kitchen. She's with her kids. I don't know what they're making. It kind of looks like a few things. It looks like they're making pancakes. It looks like they're making a cake. It's some type of batter. I don't know, but her and her kids are bonding, doing something. While Shane is outside cleaning the barbecue grill, that's why I'm thinking, like, what are they doing? Because if he's cleaning the grill, I'm like, so if they're making something on the grill, or are they making the sides? So as Shane's cleaning the grill, here comes a guy, and it turns out it's his friend he's known from prison. He's like, you want a beer, man? Shane's like, nah, I don't drink no more. He's like, I'm proud of you, Shane. I really am. So as they sit down and talk, he tells his friend about what's going on with the babies, how the twins didn't survive, how there's only a single birth now, but he's proud to be a future dad, and he's really looking forward to everything that comes along with Lacey. He's telling his friend how things are so much more peaceful now that John is out the picture, and his friend said, you know what, if he ever comes back in the picture, you let me know so I could come over here and handle that, because you don't need all the extra stress. And Shane's like, yeah, that's cool, man, but I can handle it. And then what happens? We see the courthouse. Out comes John. I thought John was in there doing some time. I mean, that's what Lacey said previously. That's what Shane had said. Clearly, it's not enough time that they thought he was going to have, because here he comes. And what did he say? I'm back. Wow. I'm looking forward to how that's going to go down, because I know one of the first phone calls he's going to make is to Lacey, and Lacey will pick up that phone. That was the end of the episode. Tell me what you think about it. Do you think that John is going to contact Lacey? Do you think Qilyn is going back to Chevelle? And do you think Shawn is going to drive to see Destiny? I think all three is going to happen. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, like this video, and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Millennial will also be back. And as always, live simply, be grateful.